Hello, hello, hello. We are back for another episode. Hopefully, I've fixed the audio issue, so I will be a little louder this episode, and it won't be as quiet as the past two. I realised when in editing that it was just completely off, and I was a little annoyed, but I thought, you know what, I'll edit it. I'll put it out anyway. But this one should be better in the sound. It might even be too loud, but I just wanted to be safe rather than sorry. But this weekend, we are in Mexico. I think we spoke about potentially taking a grid penalty for Kevin Magnussen, because we might need to take one more engine component. I can't remember what part of the car it was. Car 1 is missing a chassis, so we're going to have to change that. Oh, hold on a second. Do we not have any more left? Doesn't look like we do. Alright, well, Mick, you're going to be finishing with the old chassis for the end of the season, because we're not creating another one for you. But, do we need to take another grid penalty with Kevin Magnussen? We might need to with the gearbox. I don't think that's getting to the end of the season. Alright, so we're going to take a new gearbox for Kevin Magnussen in Mexico. It'll be a 5-place grid penalty, but at least this way it'll mean we won't have to take another grid penalty till for the end of the season. There we are. Research is done for the front wing. You could see here adding up quite a lot for the front wing. Can we research something else? I'm not sure if we have. We've got to wait 6 days. Okay. So in 6 days is when we can research something else. And we'll have all the extra wind tunnel time and the, I think it's CFD time. I don't remember exactly what it's called. But I think we're going to have to do it after the race. But in the race, it's supposed to be raining. That's always good, especially with Kevin Magnussen taking a penalty. And if we have a look, car development parts, we did a new project. I mean, there's no point in getting another one of these, is there? When would it come in? 10 days? Nah, point. Mick Schumacher will just run on the old chassis to the end of the season. But we got to wait 3 more days before we can do another research. So next episode, we will be starting on that. But let's get into qualifying in Mexico and see if we can get both cars in a Q2, potentially a Q3 appearance, at least for Kevin Magnussen. Holy cow. Alright, so it looks like everybody is taking a grid penalty, which means Mick Schumacher, looking at this, could be starting in, well, definitely the top 10, maybe even the top 5 at this rate. Magnussen only taking a 5-place grid penalty. He could still be starting in the middle of the pack if he puts in a solid qualifying. So loads and loads of people are taking grid penalties this race. Max Verstappen, his championship hopes have really come alive because Leclerc and Sainz are both taking penalties as well. Alright, I'm keeping Kevin Magnussen in. I think he's safe, so I'm not even going to send him out. Mick Schumacher, on the other hand, is definitely not safe. He needs to improve. I'm not sure if Magnussen's going to be in trouble. No, he should be alright. So, let's see. Yep, so Magnussen is through, but it's all about Mick Schumacher. We have no idea what his pace is because he got held up on that first lap. Comes around the final corner, crosses the line, at least make it into Q2. Yes, he does. Perez is out in Q1, so he must have been held up, and that's basically saved Mick Schumacher. Otherwise, Schumacher would have been out on a new set of tyres. Granted, he's on the old chassis, but that is still a stinky time from Mick. Alright, we're coming into the end of Q2. I mean, you see P10 and P11, you're like, oh, that's pretty good. But they're scuff times, really, because half of the grid didn't even get a proper lap in. I don't even think Schumacher and Magnussen really got a proper lap in themselves. So it's all going to come down to this final lap. Everybody on brand new soft tyres. It'll be interesting to see where we can put our car on the grid. Daniel Ricciardo is kind of the benchmark for Mick Schumacher, and Ricciardo goes up to P8. So he needs to find a second, Mick does. Sainz spins, which means he's going to be out of Q2, which is good news for K-Mag and Mick Schumacher because he got held up on his first lap. Let's just double check. As Sainz comes across the line, he does. He stays P15. Can Mick Schumacher and Kevin Magnussen get themselves out of Q2 and put themselves into Q3? Mick Schumacher crosses the line. He goes ahead of K-Mag, but K-Mag puts in a worldie of a lap, goes up to P7. Mick Schumacher stays P14, which is a little bit disappointing. Ricciardo down in P12. Your Ocon in P13. He almost got Ocon. It would have been. He almost got both of them, to be fair. But Schumacher at P14. He's going to be moving up a bunch of places due to all these grid penalties. But Magnussen in P7. He's only taken a 5-place grid penalty, remember. So what he can do in this qualifying is very, very, very important. I think we could be on for a very, very good qualifying here. We're P5 currently. Leclerc messed up his first lap, but we're ahead of both AlphaTauris. We're ahead of an Alfa Romeo, and we're ahead of a McLaren. If we can get ahead of Fernando Alonso, I think that'll be the best we could do. I reckon P5 is on the cards here. So let's see what sort of lap Kevin Magnussen can put in. As he rounds the last couple of corners, Norris stays P6. So that's good news for us. Magnussen isn't improving on his time, though, on the brand new softs. So maybe he's not going to jump ahead of Russell or Alonso. He does not. But the two AlphaTauris stay where they are. The Alfa Romeo Zhou stays where he is. Leclerc goes up to P2. So Magnussen will be P6 on the qualifying session. He does have that 5-place grid penalty, but everybody or a ton of other people have grid penalties as well. It would be nice if we could have got ahead of Fernando Alonso, potentially George Russell, but Magnussen just couldn't hook it up on that final lap. Be interested to see where we are on the grid, though. Alright, so Kevin Magnussen, he is actually starting P6, and Mick Schumacher P11. So there must be tons of grid penalties, and here you go. The rain is going to start around lap 15 to 16, and it's going to be really heavy, and then it's going to be a bit lighter, then heavy, then it's going to go back to the sun. So it's going to be all about strategy here. We're going to start both drivers on the soft tyres, and we'll see what happens after that. So start them on the softs, get them really aggressive off the start, see if they can make a couple places up, and then we'll have to get the strategy right for when the weather changes. But we are ready for the start of the Grand Prix. P6 and P11, we can do something from these positions. It looks like an AlphaTauri's up there as well. So the drivers that finished ahead of Kevin Magnussen must have taken big penalties. Here we go on the Grand Prix. You got Kevin Magnussen. So down, you got Perez. You got, I mean, I don't know where the other big names are. You got Sainz down there. You got Bottas down there. Alonso down in P9. But we're away in the Grand Prix, and you can see the Mercedes looking at the Red Bull of Max Verstappen. If Max Verstappen wins today, he could be really in with a chance on the championship, and he was like 60 points behind at one point. So that is pretty crazy. Magnussen going up to P5. Mick Schumacher gaining a place, gaining 2 places at the start on the soft tyres. So I'm not sure how many cars have actually gone with the softs. I think we're the only 2. And if the rain comes when it's supposed to, then we've nailed that, because these softs will easily make it to the rain, as Schumacher still trying for that move on Alonso. He's got the inside now. He's got that move to stick. He's up in a P9. Magnussen in P5. We could be on for a strong race here. We're going to tell both drivers, be aggressive. Don't use too much ERS. But we're on the soft tyres. We should be able to make some overtakes stick. Go on, K-Mag. Oh, my gosh. Jesus Christ. What's happened there? Did he crash into him? No, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. So this is Magnussen getting past George Russell with a great move. And then you just see Mick Schumacher, who must have went flying into that AlphaTauri. Because you see the AlphaTauri flying across the grass. We've got a safety car. What's happened here? We've got a crash involving multiple cars. Here we go. It's Mick Schumacher. Ocon. Mick Schumacher locks up, slams into Ocon, he slams into the AlphaTauri, and everybody's gone into each other. So Mick Schumacher probably got a penalty for that as well. He's had an absolute nightmare. Yeah, has got a penalty as well. So we're going to put him on another set of soft tyres. It's honestly, it's standard. It is tragic how much he's doing this. He's just costing us money with car parts, but
safety car.
In he comes. We're going to keep Kevin Magnussen out there for obvious reasons. But Mick Schumacher has had an absolute nightmare. Alright, safety car is in. They're about to go racing. Let's see if Magnussen could actually get an overtake off the restart. As he is in P4. He's having a great race so far already. Can he make a move on the Ferrari? I think he's more defending from that Mercedes behind. But Kevin Magnussen, he is in... Oh, he locked up. No, he looks all right. When he locks up, he doesn't go flying into other cars. Unlike Mick Schumacher. It said locked up in a turn 17. This is not turn 17. He did lock up, but he got in perfectly fine. So Magnussen chilling in P4. I say chilling. He is pushing that Ferrari. And we can push because it's going to rain in about 10 to 15 laps time. We could push as well with Mick Schumacher, but we do not want to use up too much ERS just yet. Schumacher has got a climb to make from P17 to get back up the grid. I mean, look at this. The front four are kind of pulling away from George Russell and behind. I mean, Magnussen just about hanging on. Multiple cars crashed again in Sector 3. Not sure what that's all about. It's another safety car. What's happened? What's happened now? If this is Mick Schumacher again, then this is gonna be crazy. Let's have a look. Let's just conserve. Surely it's not Schumacher. I don't think it is because he's up into P13. So I think Schumacher's all right. But who is it involved? It's the McLaren and it's another AlphaTauri, I think. So he's gone flying. He's locked up. He's gone flying into the AlphaTauri. He's gone flying into the wall. The McLaren has gone flying into the wall. That's another AlphaTauri out. So both AlphaTauris getting taken out of this race. No fault of their own. But that's okay. The rain is now expected to come a little bit sooner. Do we pit under the safety car? Thinking that maybe the rain is going to come very, very soon. Or do we wait that little bit longer? This is a big decision right here.
Copy that.
Oh, here you go. Now it is raining. Maybe we should have taken a gamble. Do we go on to full wets? We got to go on to full wets. It's supposed to chuck it down. So we're actually going to tell both drivers to come on in. We're going to go into full wets with Magnussen, and then we'll tell them to follow on in with Mick Schumacher. I think everybody stayed out, right? Yeah, Norris stayed out as well. So we're going to box onto the wet tyres. And yeah, everybody's going to come into the box. This is going to be a weird safety car restart. Are they starting now? Yeah, safety cars in this lap. I think everybody's going to come in for the box, aren't they? Surely everybody comes in. Let's have a look. So, on the safety car restart, everybody's on the dry tyres. And everybody is coming into the pits for the safety car restart, except for a couple. A couple have stayed out, but we've come into the pits. Loads and loads of cars are coming into the pits for the wet tyres. I don't know why they've stayed out. They're going to absolutely kill themselves on the wet track with those dry tyres. But everybody flooded into the pits on the safety car restart because it's just started pouring it down on this last lap. Magnussen into the pits. If we get this pit stop right, he could be out for a net P1 because there's loads of cars holding up everybody else. Magnussen does get out. I think he is net P1. Mick Schumacher in. Both drivers in. Double pit stop. And Mick Schumacher can't really find an exit out. So he's getting held up in the pits. But Kevin Magnussen, thank you very much. He is now net P1 in this race. Let's get him aggressive. Let's get him going. Get gone. Kevin Magnussen, we've mastered the strategy. We're on the full wets. What's everybody else on? Everybody else is on the intermediate. So maybe we've made a great error here. We think it's going to keep raining pretty hard. And so we've gone for the inters. Everybody else onto the wets. Have we made a big mistake? Leclerc is struggling a lot on those medium tyres. So is George Russell. So is Perez. As it's been soaking wet out there. What? How? Wait, whoa. How have they just switched tyres? Hold on a second. They were... There's another safety car, but they were not on the intermediates just a second ago. What has just happened? They've just... What? That was just the invisible pit stop. How? What? They were just on dries. How has that happened? How has that happened? I'm flabbergasted. I don't understand. But we've got another safety car. So they're out on the intermediates right now. And they're going to pass... Oh no, they've come into the pits. Hold on, let's have a look at this. Let's see what sort of tyres they put on. As they come into the pit stop, what's Ferrari got? They've got the intermediates. So now that they're putting on the intermediates, actually putting on the intermediates, when they didn't have them on. That was really weird. It said they had intermediates on when they definitely didn't. But Kevin Magnussen is leading the train of cars on the full wet tyres, and the rain is going up. I think we were in the right tyre. I really, really do. So I think we might have given Kevin Magnussen the best tyre, but it is going down. So it's still unsure. We've had 3 safety cars already, and I think we're about a quarter of the way into the race. We're not even a quarter of the way into the race. So we've had 3 safety cars, and look at the rain. It is absolutely going up. This is perfect for Kevin Magnussen. He's in P1, and he's on the right tyre compound. This literally couldn't be more perfect. Kevin Magnussen is going to breeze away from the rest of the field. Heavy rain. I'm sure loads of people are coming in the pits. They are all coming to the pits. We can have a 1-2 on the cards here. I think Russell stays out. Leclerc stays out. So does Mick Schumacher. But Mick Schumacher, he's got so much more grip on these wets. Magnussen is absolutely flying out ahead. No one's near him. No one can get close to him. Mick Schumacher, on the other hand, he's pushing the Ferrari and the Mercedes on the wet tyres. Can he make the move? Stick on at least one of them. He does. He makes the move. Stick on the Ferrari. Just about now, he's got more grip. He's going to make the move. Stick on the Mercedes. We've got a 1-2. Haas have got a 1-2 here in Mexico. And we're absolutely flying. We've got the strategy spot on. Kevin Magnussen is so far ahead of the rest of the grid. Lewis Hamilton is going to be P2. Look at the difference here. Look at the difference in time. There's 16 seconds between Mick Schumacher and Lewis Hamilton. There's 22 seconds between Kevin Magnussen and Lewis Hamilton. We're on an absolute stormer here. This is absolutely unbelievable as we use up all the ERS on accident. For Kevin Magnussen, but we're absolutely flying. We've got the strategy absolutely perfect, but now the rain is starting to go back down. Are people going to come back in for the intermediates soon? The rain is supposed to get lighter, so we'll wait a couple of laps before we make that decision. Okay, we're going to go straight to the dryers. We're going to go straight to the dryers when we get the chance. There's no point coming in for the inters now. I think if we came in the inters a while ago, it would have been perfect. We're not going to get that 1-2, which we had hoped for, but we might get that P1. So Magnussen is going to be the first one to come into the pits. We're going to bring him in, and we put him on. We've got, what, 35 laps? 35 laps. Bring him on to a set of mediums then. They should be able to get to the end of the Grand Prix. And we're going to do the exact same thing for Mick Schumacher. So in they come. We're expecting no more rain. Everybody else comes into the pits as well. Mick Schumacher out in P7. I don't know how he's lost a load of places. Some people didn't come into the pits just yet. But Magnussen is comfortably P1. He could be on for a race win here. He really, really could. Mick Schumacher could be on for a good point scoring finish as well. But I see him dropping a couple more places and maybe finishing P8, P9. But it has been a solid race so far. We've got everything spot on, and it doesn't look like there is any more rain to come. That gap to Verstappen is getting very, very close. Verstappen is on it today. This is for his championship, so he's going to really, really push us, and he's going to make a very easy overtake by the looks of it. So Verstappen is going to take that P1. Finishing on the podium with Kevin Magnussen is a huge possibility. There's not really much point to fight Verstappen. He's got 22 laps to get it done, and he's going to breeze past us right now, I believe. So if we look behind, Verstappen going to go down the inside for the race lead and to cement himself in that championship hunt. Has Verstappen got the move done? Yes, he has. There we go. Brave from Verstappen, but he gets it done on Kevin Magnussen. It's all right, K-Mag. He is just too quick in that Red Bull for us. Way too quick. Hopefully next year we can be a little closer to that Red Bull so we can fight with them. Magnussen did lock up. I was wondering why he lost such a big gap to Verstappen, but he locked up, and now Sainz is hunting him down. So these front three teams, you can see how much more pace they have compared to us out here, as we're going to probably lose a place to Carlos Sainz as well. I mean, Magnussen is doing a really, really good job right now. We've got 11 laps to go, and he's just about holding off Carlos Sainz, keeping him out of that DRS zone, although Sainz is closing that gap down little by little every single lap. We've had to go on a standard because I'm afraid his tyres are going to go off. And we've got 9 laps to go, 8 laps to go, but that gap is getting closer and closer. It might come down to the final lap of the Grand Prix for Carlos Sainz to make this move on Kevin Magnussen, but his tyres are going. K-Mag's tyres are really going. We should have probably put him on the hard compound tyres, because we're going to struggle to take these all the way to the end of the Grand Prix. Mick Schumacher, on the other hand, he's doing a fantastic job down in P7. His tyres are gone, but he is hanging on to the back of Lewis Hamilton and Sergio Perez up ahead. Magnussen, on the other hand, is going to really, really struggle to keep behind both Ferraris at this rate with the tyre wear that he is experiencing. You've got Sainz, who's got even worse tyres, to be honest. Same with Mick Schumacher, you've got Hamilton on even worse tyres. Red Bull have done the right thing by going on to the hards. So Ferrari are also struggling with their tyres as well, which is very, very good news to hear. And maybe Kevin Magnussen could hold on just because of that. Fuel is getting low. I think it's all right, mate. I think our fuel is okay. We're going to get to the end of the Grand Prix. We've got 4 more laps to go. Yeah, we're fine. We're fine on fuel. Stop panicking. But Magnussen is under pressure from the 2 Ferraris who are now in DRS range. Yes, they are pretty bad. But look at Carlos Sainz. They're even worse, mate. You gotta push. You just gotta push. That's all you gotta do. Mick Schumacher down in P7. He's got a 34-second gap to George Russell behind. So I think he's nice and comfortably taking home P7 this race. I don't know why there's such a big gap. But Magnussen is under pressure from Carlos Sainz. Can Carlos Sainz make the move? Not this time around, but there's another DRS straight right here for him to get the job done. Magnussen fighting for his life to take home another P2 this season, and he stays ahead for now. But it's going to be really, really close for the rest of this Grand Prix. Verstappen has ran away with this victory. He is blooming 30 seconds up the road on those hard tyres. If we would have went on the hards, we would be comfortably P2 right now, I think. Because their tyres are dead. Our tyres are dead. He's going to go for a move on Kevin Magnussen down this straight now. He's close enough. Charles Leclerc sees it in the background. He's going to want to make a move soon as well. Magnussen loses out to Carlos Sainz with 2 laps to go. But it is not over yet because there is another lap. Mick Schumacher, P7. We'll take that any day of the week. Just bring that car home for me, Mick. And we're trying to stay on the back of Carlos Sainz. Surely he doesn't have the tyres to pull away. But it looks like he does, as Leclerc has the tyres to overtake us as well. So Leclerc has gone past us too. And now we're down into P4. We've lost the podium position, which we once have. But we are closing in on the Ferraris up ahead. If they want to battle, please do so, Charles Leclerc. But we've lost out to Perez, who's absolutely lightning quick on those hard tyres. I've completely forgot about Perez. I forgot he was in the equation. He wasn't in the equation, but he's closed in to us 3 because our tyres were just so dead. So Perez is now going to put the Ferraris under pressure for the final place on the podium. We're going to try and deploy all our ERS to see if we can get back in to that top 4 even. But I think that is gone as Perez in Mexico is trying to get a podium. The Mexican fans would absolutely love it, but he's got to make the move down the last couple of corners as the Ferraris are going side by side. Magnussen can't get involved. Perez, is he going to make an overtake right in the line on Carlos Sainz? Sergio Perez around the final corner, can't get it done. He needed 1 more lap. We have to settle for P5 in the end, which is a little bit disappointing. P5 and P7 though is a fantastic result, and Magnussen pulls a little bit further away from George Russell in that Drivers' Championship, and we close in on that 200 point mark, which is kind of really our goal right now. Get 200 points. Did we even get it yet? No, we're 3 points away. So get 200 points and have Kevin Magnussen beat George Russell in the championship. You can see Kevin Magnussen getting 10 points. Mick Schumacher with 6 points. It's a solid weekend. We got that strategy spot on with the wet tyres. Perez came back right at the end. If we would have went in the hard tyres, I think we would have got P2. So I think we've messed that one up a bit, but we did get the strategy spot on when it went to the wet. Mick Schumacher getting in that incident early doors, but he still comes back to get us points scoring position. You can see P6 in the drivers still, and we've gained a little bit of an advantage on George Russell, 6 points ahead, which is good news indeed. You can actually see races finished on the right side. And Magnussen has finished every single race this season. I was expecting some others not to. But Verstappen, with that victory, has closed to within 5 points of Carlos Sainz. Charles Leclerc is still in that battle as well. So we've got a 3-way fight with, is it 2 races to go now? I think it's 2 races to go in the championship. So that is very, very exciting. Alfa Romeo have got to 100 points. We're 3 points away from getting to 200, which would be absolutely incredible if we could do that for the season. Magnussen with another development point. Once again, we forgot to put Jack Doohan in a practice 1 session. At some point, I'll remember. I've got 2 more races to remember, but we're out in Brazil next time out. And you know what? It's in 11 days. So I think we can bring in another one of these chassis. So it is the C2. It'll come in 9 days. All right, we'll bring it in because it's only 75,000. And we can put that back on Mick Schumacher's car. But Schumacher, he's got 2 more races with the team and then he is out. We'll be able to do some more research as well in a couple of days' time. If you are enjoying this series, make sure you go leave a like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.